Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another week of market prep. I'm currently working on getting my inventory really stocked up for my biggest 2-day event of last year, which is coming up in just around a month. So that is what we will be focusing on today. Last week I wrote out this list, which is already pretty crumpled. And yeah, I have been working on getting through this list this week as well. So let me catch you up with what I've been working on and then let me tell you about the plans for this week's market prep. So first of all, on my list, I have mostly my bestsellers, both of this event last year and then just like my bestsellers overall at markets, because that is what I really want to focus on this year. Really having a set inventory of bestsellers that I can always bring to my markets and make over and over again and get quicker and quicker at them and always keep them in stock. So those are my kind of goals for market prepping this year. So I'm really working on getting through this list, and last week I already got a pretty good amount of plushies done and crossed off that list, and this week I've been working on it as well. So last week I was able to finish 4 out of the 5 penguins that I want to prep for this market, and I had one left, and that is the first plushie that I made this week. This little penguin, just a regular black and gray one. Last week I made 2 blue and 2 purple ones, and then I have this gray one, and I think I have like 5 more of this color variation of these little guys in my inventory already. So now we have a total of 10 penguins, and that is my goal for right now. These do sell pretty well, so if we have time at the end of this market prep before the market, I might want to make a couple more of these chubby little birds. But for now, I got to cross the category off my list completely. So that is the second category that I was able to completely cross off the list after the little chicks that kind of look like this that we managed to finish last week. Since then, I've also been able to cross off another category off my list, which are my turtles. So I have 7 still in my inventory from my last market because I didn't sell any of those, which is very unusual since they are usually one of my best-selling plushies. But last time I didn't sell any, so I still have a pretty good stock, but I wanted to make 3 more nonetheless to have 10 turtles in stock. Last week we made one, which is this one, this two-toned purple. That one we made last week. And then this week I have made 2 more turtles, and these are both new color combos. I've never made them before, but I really like them. So these are the 2 little guys that we made. So both beige bodies and then a variegated blue shell and then this variegated pink shell, and I think they look really cute and I can't wait to see if they end up being popular at my market. But personally I think the variegated yarn looks really good on these turtle shells. So with those 2 finished, I have completed the turtle category on my market prep list, and I was able to cross that off my list completely. But I also made another turtle, so one that wasn't on my list. I know I said I should focus on my list, but I can never do that. So I ended up making another turtle that I hadn't planned for, but this is like a way bigger turtle that I also made this week so far. So this is like some blanket yarn and then this two-toned turtle with like a bigger pattern as well. So this one turned out quite a lot bigger than the other little guys, but I think that will look really cute in my booth as kind of like a little turtle family, with this one kind of like in the middle and then a couple of smaller ones around it. So this one as well, this wasn't on my list, so I don't get to cross anything off, but I was really motivated to make like a bigger plushie, and that is what really sparked my interest. So I ended up making this one, and I think, yeah, it was still worth it, even though it wasn't on my list, just to have a couple bigger plushies for my market that is coming up. I do have some bigger plushies on my prep list as well, but I haven't finished any of those. That is something that I should really focus on pretty soon, because last year at that market, bigger plushies were actually pretty popular because it's a dedicated craft fair. And what I've realized is at these events, bigger plushies tend to do a lot better than at my little street fairs and stuff. So I should really make a couple of bigger plushies soon to get started with market prepping those as well. But I haven't made any of those. I made some other plushies this week. One category on my list are my brontosaurus, and I have 2 left from my last event. One is in a very bright green and one is in a kind of like salmony pink. So I have 6 more on my list that I want to make, and I made 2 of them so far this week, both in this color. So 2 light green dinos, and this is the best selling color that I make these dinos in, so I wanted to make 2 of those. And then I think I will make a blue, a red, an orange, and then maybe like a turquoise or like a variegated blue or something like that. I haven't decided on the last one, but these 2 I definitely wanted to make 2 of in this color, because yeah, that ends up selling first always, so 2 is not a bad idea for those. And I wouldn't display both of them at the same time, but I'm expecting one of those to sell pretty quickly at my market, and then I can restock with another one in this color. So really glad I got those done. Those tend to do super well, and they're like a medium-sized plushie, which is also pretty good for this upcoming event. So 2 dinos done, 4 more to go of those. And then kind of like in the same category almost, I made another one of the sleeping dragons. So this is the one that I made this week. It's like a 2-tone green one, and this is the pattern that I got to test for Nooks Hooks, the highly anticipated pattern that is out by the time you're watching this video. So this is the 3rd one I made so far, and I really like this 2-tone green one. And I have 5 of those on my market prep list, so 2 more left to go after this one. And I'm really liking the 2-toned look, so the other ones will definitely be in this 2-toned look as well. I think like a blue and maybe like an orange or like a purple would look really cute. But for now, this is the only one I made so far this week, and really obsessed with those. I think they will look super cute in my booth, like displayed maybe like next to those standing dinos. I think like this could be like a cute little category in my booth to display them. And then the final plushies I made so far this week, or I finished up so far this week. I have a couple of works in progress as well, but these are the final finished plushies of this week. Are kind of like a newer bestseller, but something that I really wanted to prep for my next market since I sold out of them at my last event, are these capybaras. So here's 2 of them. I make them in these 2 different tones with like the darker brown details and then like with the lighter brown details, and so far both of them have been selling kind of like the same. So right now I'm planning to make 10 of them for my next market, since as I said I sold out of those at my last market, and they have been pretty popular overall in the past couple of months ever since I started making them. So I want to prep 10 of those, 5 in this color variation and then 5 in this. So far I have 3 finished, 2 in the light and then 1 in the dark. And then I have one of those as a work in progress as well. So let me find that, because I did end up running out of yarn in this color back at home. So I will need to pick up another skein of that over here to keep working on those. And yeah, I think they're like the perfect, like not tiny sized, but not huge sized plushie, so that parents can still pick it up easily for their kids. And yeah, these are just like so trendy, so I want to have 10. Definitely one of the things that I will be working on possibly today, because as I said, I have another one that I have started already. So this is how far I got. Already have the eyes added and everything, but I am about to run out of yarn for this one, so I stopped working on this one. But yeah, definitely something I want to work on over the course of this weekend. And then the final thing that I started to work on this week is something that I realized I should really start prioritizing, because I want to prep quite a lot of them. They're pretty nice sized plushies, and I should really start prepping them, because in the end I might run out of time to prep everything on my list, and I want to have at least a couple of those for my market, just because, as I said, pretty like nice sized plushies tend to do pretty good at that market, so I want to have a couple of those. And I'm talking about the hoodie bears by Nooks Hooks, one of my absolute obsessions as a pattern. And I want to prep 9 of those, which is kind of a lot, but I think they will do super well at that market. So I started to work on some hoods for the bears, and I've finished 2 so far. So I have 2 frog hoods here. They look kind of funky right now, but one in this like lighter green that we've seen kind of a lot in the projects of this week, and then this is like the brighter green. And yeah, I'm really excited to work on those as well. I want to get at least these 2 completely made this week, because as I said, we want to prep 9 of those, which is kind of a lot. And yeah, I should really start prioritizing some bigger size plushies as well for this event. So my plan is to make a couple of actual bears and then a couple of the cows that are like one of the modular patterns that you can make with these hoods, because Nook was so nice and sent me that pattern for free, because I keep talking about this pattern so much on my channel. So I really want to make some cows as well, because I think at the time the market is at, which is the beginning of May, I think it's still like a good spring plushie to bring to that event. So yeah, those are the plans. At least work on the capybara some more, get these 2 finished, and then also tomorrow afternoon we're leaving to visit family over the Easter weekend. It's currently Friday, so it's a holiday today, and tomorrow we're leaving for the Easter weekend, and we come back on Monday. So I also want to prepare some yarn and take that with me on the go, because I can always crochet like on the drive and then possibly also while I'm there. So I think I will pack some yarn for that as well. We will go through that I think tomorrow before I leave for that weekend. But for right now, as I'm over here, I will actually keep working on my candle business some more, and probably not crochet a ton over here, but I definitely want to work on some projects tonight. And yeah, I will check in with you guys tomorrow, show you what I got accomplished, and then we will keep on market prepping. Hi friends, it's now the next day, so it's Saturday, and I have around half an hour until I have to leave for my trip over Easter. But I wanted to check in with you guys, show you what I crocheted last night, also show you what yarn I'm taking on my little trip and what I'm planning to make there. So last night I didn't crochet a whole ton. I finished up the capybara that I was working on. So we now have 2 in the light and 2 in the darker version, and I think they look so funny. I think they will do so well at my markets this year. And then I started to work on the next one. So this one just has 2 more rows to finish, but I need to add eyes before I can do that. And I was crocheting on the sofa last night, so I didn't want to add eyes. So that is when I stopped for this one. And yeah, my plan for now is to finish this one up. This should take me like 2 more minutes. And then I will show you what yarns I picked out to take with me on, it's not really a vacation, it's like visiting family. So today I will be in the car for I think 3 hours, because we're running an errand before we leave, and the trip is 2 hours. So I think like 3 hours in the car. And then over there, I think I will have some time to crochet as well, because like hanging out with family, I always have a little time to do something on the side. And then also we have a 2-hour trip back. So quite a lot of crocheting, hopefully, that I can get done over there. But yeah, let me finish this one, and then I will talk to you more in detail about my plans. Okay, so 5th capybara finished, so we're halfway done with those. And yeah, I'm really glad that I prioritized these. So for now, I will put them to the side, because like in the car, I want to work on my bees. So on my market prep list, I have 20 bees that I want to make, and my goal is to definitely get those done over the course of my little trip. So I've picked out all of the yarn colors that I will need for those. So obviously for the regular bees we will have yellow and black, and I plan to take another skein of yellow. I will pick that in just a second to really have enough to work on those. So black and yellow, and then obviously white for the wings. And then I also like to make little rainbow bees, so I picked some yarn colors to make those. So we will need red, orange, lilac, blue, and I have another skein that I will take because this will be not enough. And then we have green as well, so we will need all of those colors as well. I will take all of those and make some rainbow bees. My plan for now is to make 12 regular bees, so the black and yellow, and then 8 rainbow bees, because I think that is like a good ratio to have. And then just in case I have more time, I can always make more. And with all of this red yarn that I will be taking, I can also work on a brontosaurus if I have more time and I don't want to make any more bees. And yeah, that is the plan. Definitely a lot of bees to get done. I also decided that I will be taking eyes and stuffing. So I have prepped a little package of eyes with just 8mm eyes and their backings, and then my little washers that I like to add for just a little extra security that you really can't pull the eyes out. So I have prepped that. I will be taking that and then taking a bag of stuffing because we will have the space in the car, so why not take it and be actually able to finish up all of these little guys. So those are the plans. I will pick another yellow and then actually probably head out, and I might check in with the guys while I'm on my trip, or otherwise we'll meet on Monday and see what I actually got done. Alright friends, so as you can tell, I'm not at a studio, but I'm actually also not on my trip anymore. I'm back home and it's now Monday. It's the evening now and we just got back from our little trip to see some family over Easter. And yeah, I didn't end up checking in with you guys because I really enjoyed taking the weekend off and not really focusing on that part of my crochet business. So yeah, we can check in now and I will show you what I got accomplished. I got quite a lot done because, as I said, I was in the car for quite some time, so that is mostly when this crochet work got done, and then just a little bit while I was there. So let's get right into what I was able to make over the course of the weekend. I do have to say I have 0 finished projects, so I ended up packing this little box of eyes, but I ended up not really using them, or like not using them at all. So I didn't end up working on that. I also took some stuffing and didn't use that as well. Just a little crocheting on the side whenever I had a little time or a little downtime, but nothing else got done. So let's get right into the projects that I was working on. So as I said, I wanted to work on some bees, and that is what I ended up making. So here's a yellow and black one. Obviously not stuffed or eyes added, but what I did end up doing is I added the wings. So I already sewed them on for all of the bees that I made. So now the only thing that needs to get done is adding eyes and stuffing them, which should take a lot less time than when you have to sew on the wings as well. So I'm really glad I got that done. I ended up starting to work on that first thing in the car. I made 40 little wings because I wanted to make 20 little bees, and I ended up using all of them up, so that is really great. And yeah, all of those are sewn on, so it won't take a huge amount of time to finish these up. So in the yellow and black colorway, I have quite a lot of them. So here's 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12, so 12 little yellow and black bees. As I said, last year the yellow and black ended up being way more popular than the yellow and brown, so I decided that yellow and black will be the only 2 colored variation that I will have for my markets this year, so 12 in the yellow and black. And then, as I planned, I also made some rainbow bees, which I mostly ended up making while I was staying with family because you have quite a lot of different colors to change into, like over the course of making the bee. So I made most of them while like on the couch there, but a couple of them I actually finished up today in a car. It ended up working out pretty fine, and yeah, here it is. It's pretty much the same as I made them last year, but the only thing that I changed, I have this really bright orange here now, and last year I had like a very pastel orange, so I ended up switching that this year. But other than that, it's the same color variation as last year, and I think this looks just like a little brighter and like more spring-like. So I really like this color combo, and I made all of the ones that I planned. So we have 8 of those, 4 and 4, and they are like as finished as the other ones, so just eyes and stuffing needed for them. So that means with those I ended up making a total of 20 mini, they're not really mini bees, just my regular bees. So those are all of the ones that I have on my little prep list that I want to get done. So that will be super satisfying to cross that category off just in one go and yeah, be done with those. That was one of the big points that I had on my list for this market prep, because they were so popular at my last market that I really wanted to focus on those. So that will be a huge accomplishment to cross all of those off. And then I was actually also motivated to work on a bigger bee. I had some bigger bees at the very start of my crochet business for my first couple of markets, and they were okay, like they were pretty good sellers, nothing like these little guys. They are like really easy to pick up. I sell them for €8 each, and I had some bigger bees, and they sold like 1 or 2 would sell at each market, but at some point I never restocked them, and I haven't had them in stock in over a year, almost 2 years at this point. So today in the car I decided, why not try and make a bigger bee again and see how it sells. So I just freehanded this bigger bee just for a size comparison. This is like the smaller and the bigger, so quite a good size difference. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think like a bee is like the easiest pattern that you can make. So I freehanded that, and I will also need to add eyes and stuff it, and we shall see if it does well at my market. I might start making some bigger bees again, but for now this is the only one. This wasn't on my prep list, so I don't get to cross anything off my list, but yeah, at least another medium-sized plushie to be added to my inventory. And then the final thing I worked on in the car today was something that's also on my prep list, so good job me for actually sticking to my list. So I worked on this brontosaurus, so this blue one. I had this one at my last event and it's sold, so I wanted to remake the same color again, and I have 4 more brontosaurus to get done. So this is one of the 4 that I wanted to make, so almost finished, just a couple rows on the head, eyes, and then the tail to be finished. So pretty good progress here. And my goal tonight is to kind of take it easy. I really enjoyed taking the weekend off a little bit, so I want to take the relaxation into next week a little longer, but I think I can still get all of these works in progress finished tonight. It shouldn't take me a long time. I can just get that done while watching some videos, so that will be my evening occupation. And then I will actually take this video into tomorrow, so Tuesday, which I don't usually do, but I really want to show you all of the things that we got finished this week. So I will see you tomorrow. Alright friends, it's now the next day, so it is Tuesday. I just got home from work and I wanted to check in with you guys and show you what I finished last night, and yeah, kind of go over this week's plushie makes. So I will insert some footage right here, but that is what I'm looking at currently. So I managed to finish all of the 20 little bees that I made during my trip. So I ended up adding all of the eyes and yeah, stuffing them, closing them up, all of that. So I'm still not sure if I like it better having the wings attached already before you add the eyes in, because I feel like for some of these bees they ended up being like a little crooked. like to one side or the other, because I kind of sewed them like in between two stitches and I couldn't place the eyes anywhere else. So some of these are a little crooked. I'm not sure if I will be able to find one of those. Yeah, like this one, for example, like it's just a little crooked to the side, these wings. But when I placed the eyes one stitch over, it was crooked to the other side. So yeah, it ended up just being like a little wonky, but overall the process of finishing them up was so much quicker than having to add all of the little wings. Not sure how I will do it in the future, if I will do it this way again or adding the wings once the body is stuffed, because that kind of makes it easier to like sew the wings on correctly, because as you can tell for this one, for example, I wish I had placed one more stitch to kind of close up that part at the front here where you can see the orange from the body, and you can't really tell that it will turn out this way when the body is unstuffed. So not really sure if I would do it this way again, but it made the process last night way quicker to actually complete all of them. I of course also finished the big one, so here is the big bee. I really like how this one turned out. I'm thinking about even like making another one of these, because I think like for me there's not a ton of crocheters at every single market, so I think people are still interested in bees. I know that a lot of other people have been saying that bees tend to not do all that well anymore because everybody who wants one already has one. I don't think that's the case where I live necessarily, so I think I will ride the wave for a little longer and maybe even make a couple more of those for my upcoming market. Today I got another approval for another market mid-May in the mail, so we have another market to look forward to after this one. So yeah, definitely want to stock up for those two events in May, so maybe a couple more of these would not be a bad idea. And I was thinking of charging 15 euros for this one, because like compared to my capybara, it's kind of like a comparable size. Like this one is slightly chunkier, but that's just the body shape, but it's definitely a lot easier to make than this one. So I think 15 euros should be fine for this as well. So that is what I will be going with for this one. And then of course I also finished up my Brontosaurus last night that I started while on my little trip. So we have 3 of those guys now completed and 3 more left to go. So a good chunk of the way there. And then last night, the final thing I was working on was the hoodie bear that I started. And I think I showed you at the beginning of the video. So it's almost finished. You can already kind of tell what it's going to look like. So 1 froggy bear down and 8 more bears in total to go. So that will be definitely a big focus of the next couple of weeks, to work on these guys a little more, because as I've been saying, I think that the size plushie will do super well at the first event that I'm doing in May, like the bigger actual craft fair. The other event is like a smaller street fair, so that is where my mini plushies will come out to play, I guess. So yeah, I really want to have a couple more finished and really want to focus on those. Another big focus of next week will be making some cats, because I have 9 on my market prep list and 0 completed currently. I'm thinking of doing like a little spin the wheel challenge where the wheel decides which cat I make. Like I'm thinking about putting on different fur patterns onto the wheel and then like different colors and spinning the wheel to see which fur pattern and color I make for the cats. So let me know down below if that sounds interesting to you guys. And yeah, that might be next week's upcoming video. But for now, this will be the end of the market prep week for this week. I thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way until the end. I will see you guys again next week for another video. So until then, bye!